I would love to say that we are not in a climate where we need to be conscious of how we spend money, but we are. And it's not just a now climate. We've been in this climate for a long time. It happened during, was that the housing market? Was that 2009? Happened during COVID, and it's happening now. People are having to think about how they're going to pay their bills, and many people are trying to dig themselves out of credit card debt and loans. So I'm going to walk you through 5 steps that's going to help you work your finances better. Now, before I dive into these 5 steps, let me introduce myself. My name is Terry and I'm the Wealth Sharer. I share wealth so you can build wealth. So these 5 steps are going to help you process your life and your finances better if you follow through. So, a lot of people are scouring the internet looking for information, and you're going to see this information in different forms from different people. But at the end of the day, boils down to whether or not you know your why and whether or not you really want to. So, a lot of times people are spending time in their thoughts about their debt and worrying about it, where they're so stuck in that mindset that they find themselves not being able to take action. But we're going to change that all around, right? We're going to, do a different type of thing, right? We're going to actually follow through. So, the first thing I want you to do is I want you to calculate all of your loans and debt, credit card, 401k loans, car loan, everything, anything that you owe someone, I want you to write it all down. And here's the thing, a lot of times people know they have their debts out there like individually, but they've never actually sat down to create a total. And that total can be life changing because when you actually face the total number that you owe, it makes you feel different in terms of I got to get rid of this, right? So rather than looking at everything, on this website and that website, I want you to pull it all together. So I want you to write it down, go into every website that you have to, you go in to pay your bills and write that grand total. What is your total balance? And write everything down. And that total number is what you owe, whether it be 80,000, 50,000, 20,000, or 200,000. It doesn't matter. And also include your student loans. Okay. We have to face the music. Okay. I want you to face the music because that is what helped my husband and I be able to truly understand the $114,000 that we calculated back in 20, I want to say 18, 2019 was not it. It was like, oh my gosh, how did we get into all this debt? And it might have been like 120. I just remember it was like, whew, a deal breaker. Like this is too much, right? So that was us facing the music. That moment of facing our finances helped us to catapult our trajectory in getting out of debt to be financially free. And we did it in such a short time. So I'm going to walk you through some more of the steps that we took to make this all happen. Okay. So once you calculate all of your debt that you owe, I want you to then create a budget and just something basic in Excel, Google, or write it down. It doesn't have to be this masterpiece of, this budget. And here's the thing, don't get scared about the word budget. Budget just means that you're planning your money. It just means that you are putting yourself on a healthy money diet. Okay. Now, when I say diet, it's for you to consume well, spend well. It's not a dirty word. Don't get scared about it, okay? A budget is something that many people have not learned how to do. They don't know that they're supposed to sit down and plan. So many people are just spending without even thinking about it, that before they know it, they spent all their money and blew their account, okay? But we're going to make wiser decisions, and that's going to start with you setting up a spreadsheet or again just using pen and paper. Then I want you to set up separate accounts for your bank, okay? Now, some banks, I believe most banks, allow you to set up several checking and savings account. Now, this is what we did. We set up 3 checking accounts. Those 3 accounts help us to manage our day to day, our bills, and our mortgage. So I want you to do the same. Duplicate what I did, okay, to make it easy for you. One account will be for your everyday spending. When you go to the store, they're swiping, the things that are just, day to day, just regular, just basic stuff, okay? Then the second account is going to be for your bills. This is for your light, your gas, your water bill, any bills that you pay month to month. This is where you're going to pull that money together, because there's going to be a whole, next step process where you're allocating your money once you get paid into these different accounts to cover the bills and your mortgages and your expenses. Okay. So when you have that second account for your bills only, that is the only account that you use to pay your monthly bills. Okay. And some might be quarterly, some might be, annual, but nonetheless, we're going to make a separation between your everyday and your bills. And the third account you're going to set up as far as your checking account is going to be for your mortgage or your rent. And every time you get paid, whether that's say 2 weeks, you will set aside half of that money into that account so you can have more money every 2 weeks when you're splitting that mortgage or that rent to allocate across different accounts. Okay. Now, the other accounts you can, play around with it, but I will recommend in a savings account, it will be your grocery account. Okay. So every time you get paid, you put about $300 to $500, depending on the size of your family, and you put that in that savings account for your food. And you can even order a card for that savings account. So that will just be for your food and groceries. You separate it from everything else. Okay. Because I, if you were like me back in 2019 and before, we were spending, oh gosh, $1,600 a month on restaurants. And that's like probably on the minimum side, okay? I'm just guessing a number from what I can remember when I did my budget. I remember looking at it, it was definitely over $1,600 a month. Okay, so again, you have to determine how much you need every week. And just because you set aside $300 to $500 in that account, don't mean you blow it. Okay. You budget. Okay. And I'll create a separate video another time to talk to you about your grocery spending, or you can go through my past videos because I've definitely covered grocery shopping at some point. Okay. So, and then let's just say for another savings account, just to give you an idea, you can also budget to save for your car maintenance. So whether that is your tires, and your maybe even your gas, anything pertaining to your car, you can put into your savings account for your car maintenance. Now, your car maintenance account is not where your car note is going to come out of if you have a car note. That car note is going to come out of your second checking account, which is for your bills. Okay. So that was number three, separations of account. Divvying up where your money goes so you can be more conscious of what to save and allocate towards those monthly expenses. And some of them are also weekly. The fourth thing you're going to do is you're going to calculate your bills and expenses so you know what goes into those accounts. Okay. That way, when you look at your gas bill that's 80 and your water bill that's 60 and your electric bill that might be 50, you know that is, whatever that comes up to, that's money that you should have in that account at the minimum for those three bills. Now, continue to add that on for every other bill that you have so you can always make sure that that money's sitting in an account, and you're going to make sure that it's automated, and you can also divvy up the automation to be every 2 weeks if it makes it easier for you. Okay, the last thing you're going to do, and this is super important, is you're going to cut back. As you review your expenses and your bills, you're going to look and see what do you need to cut or what, like, stop subscribing to, cut out. You're going to look at what you no longer need and what is not a necessity. So, if you were like me who had multiple subscriptions and a cable bill at that time, we got rid of cable and we kept just like our Netflix and Hulu and, different accounts, not telling you who to subscribe to, but just giving you a scenario. So if you have a cable bill and you also have subscriptions, I'll just say you may not need both. You might be able to get rid of one or the other. Okay, just be conscious of and know your TV habits. If you're a person who don't really turn on the TV, do you really need cable? And do you need all those streaming apps? And there are so many things you can kind of look through when you actually break down your expenses to understand what you need and what you don't need. Because you're going to be moving now and shifting to the dynamics of purchasing things off of necessity versus wants so you can truly snowball your credit cards and your loans. And that is part of number 5, cut back and snowball. Those are the two things you're going to do. So the money that you're saving from cutting back, you're going to throw on the smallest bill first until you're able to pay off every single credit card. And then in the midst of all this, I want you to be doing some debt free screams, right? I want you to say, I'm debt free. I want you to start to celebrate already. Sometimes we don't realize they have to get into the energy that they want, they have to vibrate where they want to be. So while you're paying bills, don't frown and be sad, be like, oh my gosh, I got to pay these bills. No, be like, I'm debt free. Okay, you're building up momentum to celebrate ahead of time before it happens. Now, I hope these 5 steps help you to be able to get to your desired financial freedom. And once you're out of debt, then I want you to truly focus on investing in the stock market, investing in stocks and ETFs, and having your 401k maxed out and your Roth, all those things, your health savings account, which also you can save. People don't know that. You can also use that to save because, quick tip before I end this, your health saving account can also be used as an investment tool, but whatever money is left in that health savings account, if that's something that you have, every year that money is yours. So when you are done with your medical expenses and you say you're a person that don't go to the doctor often, that money is yours. So you can have that at retirement. It's at retirement you get to have it, okay? So let me know in the comments that you are ready for your debt-free, journey. And then also I want you to comment, debt freedom is mine. And I also want you to be sure to subscribe and send this video to someone that you love. Bye.